part 2 of this video series, and I am going to post them as 2 separate ones just because maybe you only want to learn how to make the cover. You've got other pillows you can use as inserts or whatever the case may be. So now we're going to talk about making a slip cover for a pillow insert. So again, there is a little bit of math involved. We keep it simple because we only use 18-inch inserts, so I can just use the same math on all of these. This is just an envelope closure in the back, finished closure, no button, none of that. These are going out on benches out in the front of the shop. So let's get started. So to determine how much fabric you need, your width is 18 inches on my insert. So whatever your width is, that's what you need your width to be. The length you need to double the length of your pillow. Mine is an 18 by 18, so 18 plus 18 is 36, and then add 5 inches. So I need 41. I need a piece of 18 by 41 inch fabric. So again, your width is whatever the width of your pillow insert, 18 for me. Your length that you need, because this is just one continuous piece of fabric, is going to be the length of your pillow. Mine is 18, doubled, so it's 36 plus 5. So I need 41 inches. Happens to be a half-yard cut, which is what we cut in the shop. So I made my first pillow insert out of this cave, and I wanted the companion to help those purples and blues pop. So I have a piece of 18 by 41 inch fabric that I'm going to use as my companion pillow. Since we're leaving the edges raw, because we're keeping life simple, you don't have to, but we know that fabric likes to fray. Take those long sides to your machine real quick and do a quick zigzag, because that will just stop any fraying on the inside of your cover over the years. So I've zigzagged one side, I'm going to zigzag the other and just show you how to do it in case you haven't used your zigzag. If you have a 1/4 inch foot on your machine right now, depending on how that foot looks, it won't let you do the zigzag. So you want to make sure either you use a dedicated zigzag foot or maybe the standard foot that came with your machine that has the width hole to let your needle go back and forth. That's why I want to show you what it looks like, so you can make sure you're not going to pop a needle into your eye. So let's do this. So as you can see, this foot has a nice opening so the needle can go back and forth. That's the kind of foot you want to have on your machine for this zigzag. So when I'm zigzagging my raw edge with this particular foot, I'm going to zoom in and see if I can get this higher. I align my edge of the fabric to this edge of the foot. That keeps it just all sort of gathered. Let me set this on my zigzag foot, 40. So when I put the presser foot down, I just have it so it's aligned here, and it's just easier. Again, we're not trying to serge the very raw edge. We're just coming in a little bit just to keep that from fraying. If you have a serger, you could use a serger for this point too. I don't have one, so I'm going to zigzag it. Now at each of your short ends, wrong side down at your pressing mat, you're going to fold it down about 1 inch. I always eyeball this, I don't measure. And you're going to give this a quick press just to set that fold. Fold it back up. Fold your fabric back down to that press line. Press again. This is just going to create a nice finished hem on either end of that envelope. So be careful not to burn your fingers. Press that. If you want, pin it in a couple places, because we're going to stitch this at the machine. We do a 2-inch overlap on either side of the envelope, so if you're a little fatter on your hem like I am, don't sweat it. Flip, do your other end. Fold that raw edge. You may want to press and fold as you go to help hold that fold over and then fold it again. And you're just going to take it to your machine and at either end just stitch right along close to that edge to finish the seam. So I've switched back over to my 1/4 inch foot, and mine is a split 1/4 inch foot, so I'm just going to use this edge over here just to keep it along this folded edge to finish this hem. For this next step, you want your fabric laying right side up. By the way, if you've got a lot of wrinkles in your fabric, you're going to want to press them. This has a little bit of a fold line still from when it was on the bolt, but I'm actually going to use that as my line of demarcation, because the first thing you want to do on your fabric is mark the center of this panel that you've created. So mine edge to edge comes to about 39 3/4. To make life simple, I'm just going to use this fold line. Again, we do a 2 inch overlay on either side, but you do want to mark the middle, especially if you've got some oblong sewing or anything like that. So mark your centers on both the top and the bottom of this panel. I should maybe use a color you can see. And again, we have to do a little bit of math. So you want to take the width of your pillow insert. So remember, mine was an 18 by 18. So you take that width, 18, divided by 2, so 9 minus 1/2 inch. So what you're going to do is fold this fabric over, fold one end over, and you want it to measure that 8.5 inches from this fold to your center line. So again, the size of your pillow forms, mine's an 18 inch, divided by 2 minus 1/2 inch. I want this to measure 8.5 inches from the pin to the fold. I like to try to even put this on a line on my mat that I can kind of use. So if I use the 20, then I know that I need to be at 11.5 with my fold. So I'm just going to goose this over a little bit. You want to make sure tops and bottoms are even. I'm going to pin that to hold that in place at the top and bottom. And then you want to do the same on the other side. You're going to, again, fold the fabric over and measure so that you have that width of insert divided by 2 less 1/2 inch. So for me, it's 8.5. I'm going to put my pin, that's right here, on my 10-inch line on my mat, and goose my fold over so it's at that 18.5 inch mark, and that gives me a nice overlay. So I'm going to pin again, just to keep those layers aligned. Pull my pins out from the center. To use that as a pin, you especially want to make sure you catch your start and end of the envelope. So pin away to make sure that's all going to stay where you want it. So you catch it, and you're going to stitch a 1/2 inch seam allowance on either side of that short side then to close that up. You want to make sure you backstitch. So once you have those sides stitched, turn your insert right side out. No clipping corners. I'm just going to turn it inside out, tuck those corners. You've got your nice little overlay. Take your pillow you just made, watching the other video that I did. And make sure your corners are going to the corners. And there you have it. Have fun.